So good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon,
Today,
sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
today
Good
we
afternoon,
will
sir.
discuss uh, three topics. First, we will discuss the topic we left in the last class, particularly plotting the lineations, plotting the intersection of two planes, and how to interpret. After that, we will briefly discuss the slope stability parameters. Then, at the end, we will discuss the type of discontinuity present in rock and rock mass that we will be in slope stability. So let me start from the last class we have left, plotting the lineations. So this is visible.
Yes, sir.
In last class, we have plotted the plane on a stereonet. Plane on a stereonet, basically a line in the grid circle. Plane in a stereonet is basically a line in the stereonet that is we call grid circle. Now, there are two type of feature present in the geology. One is plane, which is continuity plane or not. Another is lineation structures. Lineation structure like this, you can see the figure. With the yellow marker, yellow line, we have marked it. There are discontinuity lineation structure. In lineation structure, we measure the plunge, that is the dip, and we measure the orientation of that particular line. Orientation is measured in the same way. The dip, that is plunge line, is projected horizontally, and the line making an angle with the true north is the azimuth. So two component we measure, that is plunge, actually that is dip. Another component is the direction of that particular line, that is the azimuth. These two components we get. Two things we have to maintain, that the dip angle we measure should be of 2 digits. Dip angle we measure should be of 2 digits. 0 to 90. If it is 0, then 0, 0. If it is 90, then 90. And the azimuth should be recorded in 3 digits. If the lineation orientation is 45, then we should write 0. If the lineation is 90, then 0, 90. Like that. So, finally, we will represent the lineation structure like this: 45-degree plunge, and the orientation is 270, 45/270. This is the way of representing. This is the plane. Along that, the deep line is there. So the amount we are measuring in reference to horizontal is the deep, is the plunge we are giving the nomenclature, and the line making angle with the true north. So how this can be plotted in stereonet? Let me show you. So in this slide, our plunge and azimuth is 25 to 25. 25 is the plunge, 225 is the orientation. So first what we do, I have told you that always we measure the primitive, the orientation along the primitives. Primitive is outer lines, outer line of the sphere, that is the stereonet. So plunge and azimuth 25 to 25. So what we will do, we will set the stereonet paper as we discussed in the last class. First the stereonet, then tracing paper, then we insert a pin to make a hole. Then the hole, the pin will be inserted from the downward direction. so that the pressing paper can be rotated freely against the center. Now, if these things done, so 225 is starting from north, 90 east, 90 south, then 270 is the west. So in between west and south, there will be 225. Then mark it 225 here. Then we always measure deep along the equator. Then we will rotate to equator. So the pressing paper will be rotated. So this red mark line will be kept along west and east, along west and east. Then 25 will be measured from this particular point. 10 is the bigger circle and 2 is the smaller circle. So 10, 10, 20, then smaller circle 2, 24, then half 25. It's the marking point of 20. Again, we'll reverse back to the original position. This is the original position of the fourth figure, that it represents a lineation structure, a flange 25 and azimuth 25. It is understood?
Sir,
Please repeat.
sir, while we are plotting plane, so when first we plot a strike line and then we rotate it with a true north, but here we first plot azimuth and then we rotate in the equator, so we again coincide with the equator. So this is the difference between the two.
Can you speak loudly?
Sir, am I audible, sir, now?
Yes, now audible.
Sir, in plotting a plane, first we mark the a strike. So what is there, and then we rotate our trace paper to coincide it with true north, and then we count the deep amount from equator. So, but here we are rotating the trace paper until the mark is aligned with the equator, not true north.
Yes.
So this is the difference between that two, sir, plotting of lineation and plotting of place.
Yes, that is a plot of a plane. So that is a
Yes.
separate issue now. We are now plotting a lineation structure. So lineation
Yes.
structure have two components. One is the azimuth, that is the orientation, and this
Yes.
amount, that is the deep amount, that is flange. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And in the plane also, we always measure the orientation along the primitive. That we
Yes,
have
sir.
also did here, same thing.
Yes, sir.
And in the plane, we have measured deep along the equator. We have did the same thing. We have measured the deep along the flange along the equator.
Yes, sir. But in
So
this,
principal things remain same.
yes, sir.
So is it understood now?
Sir,
Please.
sir, I have a doubt that after marking the azimuth, in which direction we will rotate it so that it may coincide with the equator, clockwise or anti-clockwise?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Remember, suppose the orientation is in the first coordinate. Okay. Orientation is in the first coordinate, that is 0 to 90. Okay. Can you hear? Mansi, can you
Yes,
hear?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So suppose the orientation is 0 to 90. In between that, we will rotate clockwise. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That is the nearest one here. Even in the second quadrant, 90 to 80, we will rotate anti-clockwise so that it will be along the equator. And for this side, it would be along this direction.
Okay, sir.
Suppose I will explain you.
So basically, this means, sir, whichever side will be less angle we have to rotate, we'll rotate on that side.
Actually, it indicates, suppose 225 the orientation, okay? That is the azimuth. Azimuth is here. I have marked it point. So my concept will come like this. So in my imagination that If it is 25, it should be along here. So I will rotate here. And I am telling you the surprising surprising thing that if you rotate here and here, there will not be any difference. You can do it in your home also. If you rotate it here, and if you rotate it here, there will not be any difference. Mansi, it is clear?
Yes, sir.
So, anti-clockwise and clockwise, it does not matter, but we have to measure the plunge along the equator. This is understood? Along the mark point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody have any question?
But sir,
Huh.
in the plotting of plane, why we rotate, we coincide the strike with north, and why here we are in plotting of lineation we are coinciding it with the
Okay. Let me clear you the doubts. In plane, it's visible now. My face is
yes
Yes,
sir,
sir.
it's visible.
so this is tracing. This is the stereo net. Okay. Then at the above, I put the tracing paper. Okay. While we are plotting, while we are plotting the plane, I have given you the data of strike and dip. There is other way also. Other way is if we give dip orientation. Dip orientation would be strike plus 90.
Yes sir.
Okay, so suppose the strike was 22 degree. 22 degree. Okay. And the dip amount is 30. Okay.
Yes.
Now let me show you that nice example. Pen screen is visible.
Yes, paint screen is visible, sir.
So this is trionet, okay? This is trionet, and deep amount we have measured 22 is the strike, and deep amount is 35 degree. Okay? It is this. This is strike. Okay, it's visible. This is true
Yes,
north.
sir.
This is south. East. This is west. Now, if it is strike 22, then deep orientation should be 90 plus 112 degree. Okay? Deep orientation. It's clear? Deep and
Yes, sir.
strike is always perpendicular to each other.
Yes, sir.
So if the strike is 22 degree, then deep orientation should be 112 degree.
Yes, sir.
Now let me do that. So it is 90, it is 90. So always we measure the deep orientation and strike along the primitive. This is south. So 112 will be here. 90, 112 will be here. Okay? Is it correct?
A strike is 22 degree, no, sir. Deep amount will
Yes.
be 112.
Deep amount is 112.
Measure
Then
deep
what
along
is
the equator,
35
no?
degree?
35 is
Yes,
the
sir.
deep, and this is the deep orientation I am talking about. Deep direction.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Deep and strike is perpendicular to each other, means the orientation of the deep and the orientation of the strike should have a difference of 90 degree.
Yes, sir.
Mansi, it's clear?
No, sir. Deep orientation,
Okay,
I'm not able
okay.
to
Now
understand.
don't worry. Let me draw another picture. Suppose this is a plane. This is a plane, okay? So this is a plane, you can understand? Okay. This is a plane. So the deep amount is this. This is alpha. Deep, correct? And if it is a strike, suppose the true north is this. The strike is making an angle of beta. So we can represent it beta alpha of the orientation of the plane, we can represent, or this deep. So suppose this is a deep projection in the upper plane. So this amount, this particular plane making an angle with the true north is beta plus 90 degree.
Yes, sir.
Is it understand?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Everybody, it is clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Any
No,
doubt?
Sir, here alpha is 35, right?
Here alpha is a 35. Yes, alpha is a 35. Very good. And the beta is 22 degree. So the deep orientation is basically 112 degree. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, if this is the case, so we will plot a plane in the student like this. We will mark 112 in the primitive. Then we will rotate this point equator. Then after marking this point here, we will measure 10, 20, 30, 35. So along the 35, we will measure. Then we will rotate back its original position. It would be around like 112 plus 35. Now it is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's why the orientation is more than 90.
Compare in
Sir,
reference
we
to
are
strike.
taking
In
in 3
reference to
digits.
strike.
That's why we are taking in 3 digits, sir. 0, 3, 5, 0, 2, 2, 9.
Yes. Okay. Up to this clear?
sir, one more thing.
Okay.
Sir, during plotting lineation, whether we rotate tracing paper clockwise or anti-clockwise, this doesn't matter because
Can
after all,
you please speak loudly?
okay. Now, sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
So during plotting of lineation, whether we rotate tracing paper clockwise, anti-clockwise, this doesn't matter because after all we are counting plans from deep. But during plotting a plan, we cannot rotate it in this manner, sir.
But for a plane, we always rotate along anti-clockwise. For a plane, we always rotate along anti-clockwise to maintain that orientation. Remember that. Strike was like that. We are rotating to north. Our orientation was there like that. So we'll keep along the equator. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So if it is clear, then you write down these exercise for plotting lineation structure on a unit 12 to 30, 73, 345, 08, 067, and 34, 102. Okay. So it's done. So there are two possibility of lineation structure in a geological feature, geological strata. One is a lineation structure itself. Another is if two plane intersect each other, it will intersect along a line. Do you hear me?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
hear me? So
Yes,
if
sir.
there is a two
Yes,
plane,
sir.
if there is a two plane, then two plane intersecting each other, even then a lineation structure will be there, a line of intersection. So for that line of intersection, we should have the flange and we should have the azimuth. So how to do that in a sterionet? Okay. So suppose this is a plane. So two plane intersecting each other here. So this is a lineation structure we have to plot. So this lineation structure in a sterionet, two plane, there's a line in a sterionet will make a point. So how to do that? What we will do? What we will do? We will plot the first plane. The
So
plane
in
will be
lineation, we need to draw a line or we need to plot it point.
lineation. Always there is a one-dimensional reduction in sterionet. So lineation means a line in a actual phenomena, actual reality, in a physical reality. So it should be one dimension should be reduced. That is the point. Okay. So suppose this is a plane one, another plane two. So these two planes intersected each other here. Now, if I ask you a question, what is the orientation of this particular point? That is the orientation of this line of intersection. This is south, this is east, this is west, this is north. So what you will do? Anybody have any answer?
Plane one is dipping in east side, and plane two is in
How to determine this line of intersection orientation? That is plunge and azimuth. How to determine from this particular figure? Anybody have any suggestion?
Sir, we will rotate this point. We will make this point coincide with east-west, and then we
Yes,
can,
yes, very good answer, very good answer, very good answer.
and then we can measure, sir.
So we will rotate the tracing paper so that this point will lie along the line of the equator. So where the where the point will lie in the equator, that is the amount plunge. Okay. The amount is plunge. This amount is plunge where it will intersect the equator. We will measure the plunge, and where it is intersecting with the primitive, that we will mark. And again rotate back to original position, it will come here. So along the primitive we will measure that it would be around 170.
So that
So,
will be azimuth.
so 170, and suppose this is 38. Like that we can determine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, the next point is how to plot a pole. Now the question will come, suppose while you have drawn the great circle in a tracing paper, suppose there are 100 number of pattern of different discontinuity observed in a large field. So 100 number of great circle on a same graph on a sheet, it would be clumsy, and to fetch out some information or some reaching towards some decision, it is very difficult, very difficult. So what do we do? To adjust this particular point, we plot pole. Instead of plotting a great circle, we plot the pole. The same pole will be representative of the plane. Same pole will be representative of the plane. So pole is a perpendicular to the plane. Suppose this is a plane. So this is, you can observe, this is a plane, the shaded one. So if you draw a perpendicular in the plane, so perpendicular means elevation structure ultimately. So the perpendicular plane, perpendicular line, not plane, perpendicular line, that line in a stereo net will be a point. So that point will indicate the whole plane. So we have reduced a second stage of reduction, second stage of dimension reduction in the stereo net. Initially plane is 3D, we have reduced to 2D, that is a great circle. Again a one step jump, we are reducing that line to a point without compromising the quality. That is, that point will again represent the plane. How to do that? So the pole is basically an imaginary line joining the plane. So pole is very quicker to plot. Here that we have discussed polar equatorial, polar equal angle, polar equal area. So that stereo net is very easy to plot the pole. But there are other limitations, that is why you are not using it. But in a equatorial equal area, equatorial equal angle net, you can also plot the pole. But for equatorial equal area net, there is another advantage, that we will set the Carlsbad stereo net, that we have shown it. That if there are number of poles, you can also plot the number of poles contours. So how to draw the poles? Let me discuss first. Suppose plotting a pole of 0.5, 5, 20 southeast. This is the reading. So what we'll do? We'll first mark 055, that is a strike. Okay. Then we'll rotate back the point to a true north. Then along the
Yes.
equator we will mark 20 degree. Then additionally 90 degree leftward. Pole is 90 degree. So orientation of the plane and the pole is mutually perpendicular to each other. So angle of the dip should be added 90 degree. So it is left side. So here it is the actual great circle should have been. So we are taking 90 degree left side. Now rotate back to its original position. That is the pole. This point actually represent the plane around, like this would be the possible plane. So by this point you are representing the plane of 055 20 southeast. So what we do, we have reduced the dimension. Along with that, we are keeping the quality and quantity intact. It is clear? It is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now note down
So
the
once I explain, so
Okay,
why
okay.
this 90 degrees is
Let me explain it better in my end. This is a plane. Okay. Now this plane have an orientation of, this is strike, this is true north, it is making an angle beta, and reference to horizontal it is making an alpha angle. Beta strike alpha is the orientation of the plane. Pole is any perpendicular line. Imaginary perpendicular line is the pole. So this line is perpendicular in every place of the plane. So this line is perpendicular to all points in the plane. So if it is perpendicular in all points of the plane, the angle between the dip, this plane and the line and the pole should be 90 degree. Difference between these two. Up to this, you have understand?
yes, sir.
Because this line making 90 degree at every point. So the deep angle difference between this line and the plane is 90 degrees. So if the alpha is a deep, it should be alpha plus 90. So what we have done in the plot a plane, plot a pole, the strike was 0.55 and it is 20. Orientation of the deep of the plane. First we have marked, it is true north, east, west, south. Hello? Hello, sir? Hello. So 55, it should be around here. 55, 5 degree. So what we did now, we have rotated it to original north. Hello? Hello? Sir, अभी मैं class ले रहा हूँ. So rotate this particular line to true north. Then after rotating it here, so now it would be here 55 degree. Should be marked. Is it? Then we will mark 20 degree along this here 20. Then additionally 90 here. So pole is always opposite to the quadrant of the great circle. So if it is pole great circle is in the northern hemisphere, northern part, it should be in the southern. Even in the southern, it should be in the northern. If it is in the eastern, it should be in the western. So this is the point. Now after rotating back in its original position, rotating back, so the pole would be after plotting it here, it will be here. Okay. Up to this point is clear. Now write down these exercises. 032, 20 northeast, northwest, 102, 65 south, 117, 77, 33 east, and 065, 82 northwest. Now I have already shown you how to read measurement from the stereonetic great circle. This is a given one. So if I ask you that you please find out the orientation of the plane from this plot is given to you, what you will do? So this is the line being drawn. So along the primitive, we will try to count 0, 90, 91, 100, 134 here. So strike is 134. Okay. Then we will measure the dip. So what we will do? We will rotate back to the north and south. Then along the equator we will measure the dip, that is a 20. Now right we will write address 134, 22 southwest. This is the way to measure from the data given in the student and read the amount of the dip and dip. Similarly, for the flange and azimuth, I have already shown. This is the line. Rotate the line along the equator. This is and mark the line. The amount is flange, and this particular line, after rotating back, that is the azimuth. Up to this, it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So let me start a new lecture. So now we have learned how to plot different geological structure on a stereonet. And if you have any confusions, please drop me a mail. We can discuss it individually because we have to cover so many things in the syllabus. So up to this, I have tried to explain in greater details. But if you have any further confusions, please drop the confusion in my mail. We'll try to sort it out with some extra classes. Okay. Now let me concentrate on the new topic, that the slope stability parameters and the geological distance. So in the first, we should try to learn what are the different parameters going to be a principal and very sensitive one to control the stability. So here, if the stability is the central focal point, then the slope height, slope angle, slope width, these are the physical parameters that is we can plan in advance in the field. So these are the parameters is very sensitive towards the stability. External parameters: blast vibration, earthquake, the material friction angle. Material friction angle you cannot alter. Material cohesions you cannot alter. With taking into account of that property of the material, you have to plan. And the pore pressure. Pore pressure is also external. You can make many drains, garland drains, so that there is no wet or wetting of the slope face. All the water is being drained out. So even then, pore pressure is going to play an important role in the overall stability of the slope. Now, if we take into account all these parameters into our domain or concept of factor of safety, then each parameter have some influence on the overall factor of safety. So if we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if you take one parameter and keeping 7 parameter constant, then we can correlate the influence of cohesion. Similarly, for the friction, for the slope height, and which parameter is going to be most likely influencing the factor of safety, that we can determine from the sensitivity analysis. So this concept of sensitivity analysis is basically one parameter individual. We can examine the sensitivity of individual parameter and then taking into cognizance of the all parameters, then that will give us a total picture about the sensitivity of individual parameters on the overall factor of safety as well as the stability. In this case, taking into account many parameters into same boundary or same domain or the same analysis table, it will be very difficult because there are a lot of calculation to be involved. So for that, nowadays computer is necessary. Computer program is necessary. You can do it using MATLAB. You can do it using Python. All the program nowadays available for you. So for a large calculation, considering all large number of parameters, you can consider using the computers. Then the value of this is very important for us because we are going to giving some focus on one parameter, priority number 1, priority number 2, priority number 3 based on this sensitivity analysis. So this analysis is very important in the field in the planning stage. If you done all these things, then based on this, you can assess the risk. So risk is basically the multiplication of hazard and the consequence. Suppose due to a failure, immediate hazard is basically, suppose it will fail. So it is, failure means a loss to your mind. Then due to the failure, not only there is only failure, it is going to influence in and around of the world. So after failure, the consequence is much. In that case, risk is very high. So why we are analyzing this? Because sometimes we are working with the optimal condition. We are working with an optimal boundary condition. So if something happens here and there would be some influence. So based on that judgment, okay, we are taking some amount of risk. Inconvenience that due to this risk, our consequence is not very high. So these are the things we should know in concept. That is why you have included the concept here. So you should remember that. So here some figure been adopted from study from USA, individual fatalities against a project, different perspective. So it is observed that annual probability of failure for a sensitive case, we cannot go beyond 1 into 10 to the power minus 4. Cannot go beyond that. So based on this concept, nowadays probabilistic design method now been adopted, and it is been widely used in different fields of the slope stability. So this is a preliminary concept. Whenever we will require in detail, we will discuss, because this is basically a research domain and a project to project people are working. So greater details can, if you are interested, you can consult a book, you can read it, and if you could not understand, we can discuss. These are the physical conditions. Another physical condition is the geological discontinuity present in the rock and rock mass. This geological discontinuity is not known to you prior to the mining. You can only know before the mining from the exploratory drill holes. And most of the cases it is observed that data is not sufficient. Often we are facing n number of different discontinuity patterns that we have not been thought of before approaching the actual mines. So there are different kind of discontinuity, not only joints, that we will discuss first. So these are the most common geological discontinuity observed in the field. That is fault, then the bedding, then the formation, joint, cleavage, and cystosis. Now let me take one by one how faults look like. Actually, fault means was. What is actually the bedding? What is the position? And not only that, while we will discuss individually, where actually lies the weakness plane, that we are much more interested to know. Because that discontinuity plane is our concern in the stability analysis of the slope. So that we will discuss now. So let me show you the fault. This is the fault. After movement of the hanging wall, this is look like this. And due to this, there are manifestation in the circle. And people are talking, this is one of the fault scrap being originated due to the earthquake of the McInerney of Australia in 1960. So this is to be noted. So this fault is basically, there is an observable amount of displacement. You can see there is an observable amount of displacement. In case of joint, it is not so. In case of joint, it is not so. So this fault plane, there is an observable amount of displacement, means already there is a movement occur. So if there is a movement occur, that plane is not compatible. Another things to be noted, in a mine, fault is not occur as a singular feature. Fault always occur in multiple sequence. So that is why you are often pronounce fault and fault systems. So not only you have to characterize only one fault in the field, you have to also characterize all possible faults present, and you have to plan your excavations and in the mine and advancement of the working in such a way that you are favorably oriented the fault in your working bench. It's very difficult, but if you do that, then you will avoid most of the difficulties facing the stability of the bench law. Second, this is a bedding, a large bedding plane is observed. This picture is taken from Peru, 140 million years of age. So 140 million years of age, for that million years of time, rock have underwent changes, depositions, and there are changes of temperature and pressure, and new layer form, another new layer is formed, and finally giving a shape of a rock, new rock type. And in between this bedding plane, the interface between two bedding plane, that is a source of discontinuity that we are considering. If this discontinuity plane oriented parallel to the slope face, there is a possibility that, or it is delighting the slope face, there is a possibility that failure may occur along that weakness. So that needs to be taken care of. Foliation. Foliation basically observed for a mineral structures, parallel orientation of the plating minerals. And this is not a very big issue for the bench, but this is a source of weakness. So there is a source of weakness claim here. So we should consider in the discussion. That is why you have included. This picture has been taken from the Museum of the University of Turkey. Now,
So what is the difference between bedding and foliation?
bedding is a bedded deposit of the total rock, and it is only the platy minerals are oriented along a plane. So this foliation indicates a particular stratification of that mineral only, and it is not in large scale. You measure it would be in the centimeters. Whereas in the bedding, the meter, few meter bedded deposit, different 2 meter, 3 meter, 5 meter. So bed as a discontinuity plane in a bench slope, much more important than the foliation in a rock layer. But foliation means there are different times this sequence has been occurred. So at different time sequence has been occurred means there is a weakness. So that is why we are considering. Here it is the largest one, that is the joint. What is that? Joint also is not a singular feature. Means only one set of joint occur, only one joint is occurred, it is not so. You often observe the joint, same set of joint, is some space. 5 meter space, same joint set been observed. Another 5 meter space, same joint set been observed. Not only so, another set of joint intersecting each other and with some spacing is oriented like that. You also observe. So these joints are measured in the surface outcrop, striking in the surface outcrop. From that we can get the orientation of the strike. Then we are measuring the deep, and also we are also measuring. We should measure in the joint set the spacing, the persistence, the length of the joint set, and the width in filling material. If there is a visible gap in the joint set, we have to measure the width. That we will discuss in detail in the next part of our lecture. This is cleavage. This is joint. This is cleavage. So a kind of funnel structure is there, and you see when there is a different alterations in the mineral zone has been observed. So this structure is formed due to what? Due to lateral pressure this direction or that direction. So this edge is basically strained one. So if it is strained one, so there is a possibility of weak material present, that it is already under strain, stress and strain, high stress and strain. So if there's some excavation is done on that, there is a possibility of failure. That is why we are considering, and we are also trying to characterize the cleavage. That is also important. Another is cystosity.
बेडिंग में और क्लीवेज में क्या डिफरेंस हुआ?
Cleavage
बेडिंग
is
और
also
क्लीवेज.
please. This cleavage is that is cleavage is observed due to some changes in the stress and strain in this zone in million years of time, and due to the change of that, some kind of minerals particles are arranged in their uniform way. Okay. Arranged in their way, and that is why what it actually means, that due to this arrangement, this particular plane is not competent. Suppose some excavation is done in this particular portion, then it will come out, because it is not tenable, it is not competent. Whereas for the bedding, this bedding is for 140 million years. Suppose you are oriented your plane bend slope along this particular point, not intersecting the slope face, then this bedding plane may stand for few years. If you not intersecting the bend slope with this particular bedding plane, then this bench will remain together. But if it is daylight and the strike of this bedding plane is within 20 degree plus minus of the strike of the face, then planar failure will occur. This is not large structure though, but it is very incompatible compared to the bedding. Whereas the cystosity is basically observed in a metamorphic rock, particularly prismatic type, platy minerals type. And what we observe, suppose a mica flakes, one after one flakes can be separated, and along that flakes, the resistance along the flakes is very minimal. So suppose due to the excavation, that plane is oriented like that and it is exposed, so one after another these flakes will be sliding. So that is why we also should characterize if there are any cystosity in the rock that we are going to excavate in the formation of the place. So these are the possible kind of discontinuity that we consider. But
So cleavage is also same formation, or one set cleavage, two set cleavage
this is
compared to schistose.
this is basically for only crystalline rock, and majorly for a metamorphic rock it is observed. Okay. Whereas in the slope stability, we will majorly consider these two features in our analysis, because these two structures often observed and playing a very important role. This is bedding and this is the joint. So how these two parameters can be characterized in a totality in a field, that we are going to discuss. This is a block. This is a block, and this block represented with m number of circles, representing m number of parameters to characterize a geological discontinuity and its terminology and its paraphernalia. First is, on which rock this geological discontinuity is observed. Rock type, whether it is a sedimentary, whether it is a metamorphic, or whether it is a igneous rock. Rock type, that is very important. So if the rock is very competent, then we have to plan in that. If the rock is not competent, we have to plan other way. Discontinuity type, that already we have discussed. There are possible 6 type of discontinuity. Majorly, heading and the joint we are concentrating on. So these discontinuity is a plane 3D structure. So the plane should have the characteristics of deep and the deep orientation. That is, we are measuring here. This is the phi and this is the alpha that we are measuring for this particular discontinuity plane observed in this particular rock. So it is a representative rock, that is not reality, but within a rock we are trying to accommodate all the features. After discontinuity has been found out, we should measure the orientation. Orientation means we will find out the deep amount and the deep direction that we have already discussed. Now, after finding out a one joint, it is a probability that that joint may occur in sequence at some spacing, perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. So we have to determine the perpendicular distance between the joint. That is a spacing. 3, 4, 5 number of joint outcrops in exposed in the surface. From that we can measure the spacing, perpendicular distance between the joint set. We can measure that. But there is a question. You may ask a question that is exposed in the surface may not be the spacing is true. Spacing is a perpendicular distance between the joint plane. So whatever exposed in the surface, it is not actually the perpendicular distance. So from the joint plane angle, we can find out the actual spacing that we will show. Similarly, for the persistence. Persistence is the term that we use to denote for the length of the joint, the extent of the joint, how much continuous the joint is, whether after 5 meters it is discontinued, again after that, like that, or it is continued for 20 meters. That is the persistence. That is also important to know. Another is roughness. In between the joint set, in between the two joint plane, how much amount of waviness structure is there? That is the roughness. That roughness is going to give a frictional resistance. And due to this frictional resistance, there would be a shear resistance. So while there will be a movement along the weakness plane, their shear resistance due to this roughness will resist against the movement. So determining and finding out the roughness is also very important. Then the wall strength on which this joint set is oriented on and standing. If that wall is competent, if the wall is treacherous, or if the wall is prone to weathering. Based on that, we have to calculate. Now, let me consider the process of weathering in totality. We have already seen a rock. Within the rock, there are different kind of discontinuity plane. And within the discontinuity plane, there may be possibility that the joints are open. There is a possibility of intrusions of the infilling materials. And if the rock is competent, maybe this intruded material is prone to weathering, physical weathering or chemical weathering, oxidation, carbonization, hydration. These are the possible mode of weathering in a rock. Or due to the physical weathering, the color is distorted. These are the processes generally we are considering weathering. So if the rock is prone to weathering, that we have to find out. You can find out the laboratory tests like the unit index test that we will show you in the laboratory test. Now the aperture. We have already discussed that there is a possibility that in between two joint set, if it is some gap is there, so the gap is basically this aperture. If the aperture is very tight, the gap is very tight, less than 0.1 mm, then we should not consider that there is a possibility of any infilling. We will not consider. But if it is higher than that, then there is a possibility of intrusion of infilling material. So aperture is more important in this case because the permeability or horizontal or hydraulic conductivity of the rock is much less than the hydraulic conductivity of the rock mass. Because rock mass having the aperture, so the water is getting a less resistance path and water will come out of that part. So overall hydraulic conductivity or seepage will be more along to this aperture. That is why characterizing this aperture is very important. If the aperture is more, then there is a possibility of infilling material. So you have to find out how much thick infilling material present in the rock, because based on that we have to characterize the joint shear strength. And we have to collect that infilling material, that is gauge material, and we have to test the shear strength of the gauge material to find out and to characterize the overall shear strength of the joint set. Yes, the seepage that we have already discussed. That due to this presence of aperture, seepage will occur, and due to the seepage, this seepage will lead to weathering. So these parameters basically interconnected each other. Due to the seepage, water will come and it will seep, and then it will percolate. Then it will accelerate the process of weathering if the rock is prone to weathering. And aperture is more, then the seepage will occur more, like that. So there are interdependency between these parameters. That is why we are considering all the parameters in a one place. And let me see the influence one upon another. Now the number of sets, whether only one number of sets is observed along this particular orientation alpha and beta, or there are number of sets. If there are number of sets, then there are possibility of intersection. So one set aligned like this and one set aligned like this. If they are intersecting each other, then it will form a block. So that is very important to know in our case, that block is a source of instability. That the block will come out along the line of intersection. So that is why determining the number of sets is also very important. Here the block size. Due to the number of sets, we have to determine the number of the block size and the shape the particular rock structure due to this physical discontinuity present in the rock. So this is all about today. We have tried to discuss first the plotting of lineation structure and plotting of pool, and interpret vice versa the great circle from the stereonet and the orientation of the line lineation structure. Then we have tried to discuss the different parameters of slope stability and their sensitivity to the overall slope stability. And in the last, we have discussed the different type of geological discontinuity present in the rock possible in a mine dealing with the geological deposit, and its total domain of different terminology encompassing the geological discontinuity. So I hope this will make you a clear picture about the geological discontinuity type present in the rock and their influence one upon another, and finally the influence on the overall factor of safety and the stability of rocks. This is all on my behalf. So now you are free to ask me questions. After that, we will start the next session that we are scheduled to discuss the mini project. Now, you raise your hand and tell me your question.
Sir, in lineation, we have to plot these four problems individually, or we have to plot in just single paper, single tracing paper. We have plot.
Please repeat the question and speak loudly.
Sir, I am asking that if we plotting this lineation in a single tracing paper or individually, separately.
For the assignment you are asking?
Yes, for the assignment.
On a single you do, that would be better. Okay, any other question?
Sir, can you please share the second assignment, because I am not at that time.
That
Sir, not working.
I am going to upload in MIS. You will get it. So from the parent portal you can access it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So no further question. Let me start the next session. Let me show you. This is a StereoNet. First, I will show you for a great circle. Great circle is already plotted. Okay. This is the great circle already plotted. Okay. So this is north. East. South. So what we'll do, we'll start marking from north. We'll measure this. So this is basically it would be around 40 degree. Okay, it would be around 40 degree.
Sure.
Please speak yes if you understood it.
Yes, sir. Understand.
It is understood.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll rotate back this point to a true north. Okay. Then what will happen? It will be like this. Then we will measure the amount of dip from along the equator. Suppose this would be around 45 degrees. So my interpretation is 0.45, 45 degrees strike and dip of the great circle. Clear?
Yes, sir.
For the second case, let me consider another example. It would have been better if you are here and I can show you the tracing paper, then physically you can imagine. However, I will try to do my best in online so that it will be very clear. So suppose a point is lying here, okay, one point, okay. So what we will do? We will rotate this tracing paper so that this point will come along the east and west. So it will come here, along here. So after coming here, we will mark that is intersecting along the east with a red marker here. And the amount along the east we will measure, it would be around 35. Rotating back again to its original position because marker is there. So along the PVT we can now measure, it should be around 125. 125 plus 35 is the lineation of this particular line. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So any further question? So let me start the new topic for the mini project.